Hello and welcome to my first attempt at a video tutorial using 3D Max. My goal here is to show you how to loft an outside wall of your track and texture it before you loft it, plus a quick way to create an infield. First things first, I already created my track mesh. So now I will select all my verts, click weld just to make sure everything's welded together. Then I will go to Editable Mesh, Edge, and then select Open Edges. I am looking to make sure there's no red lines inside my mesh. If there is, go back to Vertex mode and make sure usually it's because there's vertices that aren't welded together. Alright, so it looks like we're good here. I will create shape, make sure linear is checked. I will call this wall spline. I'll go to select the wall spline, and then I will detach the inside spline because that is what we'll use for our infield. You don't have to, you can delete it, but we'll have to repeat these steps, so you might as well just detach it, and we'll call it infield spline. Alright, so now we have our outfield spline. That is what our line will follow for the wall, and now we need to create that line. Alright, so we're at what, 2, we'll do 2. We'll do about a 5-foot tall wall, roughly, and about a foot wide. So 3.75. Okay, now one way of doing this is I could loft it now and then apply textures to the wall, but instead I'm going to apply the textures before I loft. So alright, the wall is 37. As you can see, I'm set up for G motor engine for rFactor. Alright, now once I assign that, I will break these verts, and then I need to mess with my pivot point. Now the pivot point of this line is where it'll move along on our wall spline. If you want the wall to come over the track, you would put it, in your center. If you want it dead straight on the edge, what we'll do, and this is why I use solid numbers, is I'll do 2 and 0. So that is where this line will loft on the spline. So that's done. Come over here to Temp View and grab our wall spline. Go to Compound Objects and get Shape. Alright. Skin parameters. Alright, textures on the outside. Usually these will be 5s, you set them to 0. Since the color's on the outside, I don't have to flip the normals. Before we convert this to an old poly, we need to drop the texture on it. Okay, now we can convert that to an editable poly. Now here's the reason I select 3 different textures is sometimes I don't use the same texture on each side of the wall. So this is a little bit easier to, if you use one whole texture, the whole wall outside, inside, and top will be selected. I just like to do each section. So I'll use X form. Okay. I'll rotate that 90 degrees. And voila. I'll do the same to the top. Hopefully it cooperates. text form. Collapse that. Okay. So, there is your wall textured, top, bottom, and back, right on the edge of your track. Done. So now, we want to create a quick infield. So I will go to my infield spline, and then I will just right click, go to poly. As long as all your verts were closed, it should create a solid. Basically, this is one big poly with a ton of sides. Normally, then I will just apply a grass texture. Let's use that. Whatever. Okay. Now, if you want it to have like a little lip, either going down into the infield or up, before I would have done this. Let me undo, get back to here. Before I would have applied the texture, what I would have done is poly select, and then do inset. 1 meter looks, that's decent. What we'll do is we'll shrink it down a little. Just a little, just to give us a little lip off. And now I will highlight it all and now texture it. Let's do box. We'll just do 20, 20, 20. Just place it safe. Collapse. And there we have it. There is a quick and painless way of creating a basic infield and having wall textures. Any questions? I will be opening the NSRS forums here soon, and I'll have hopefully more tutorials by me and from the internet. Thank you.